What does the richest person you know do for a living? Her grandfather created The Price is Right. She's been living off of the residuals her family gets, which is apparently tens of millions set aside just for her alone. I used to think those trust fund kids that just spend their fortune and never work for income would have to run out of money one day. Well, we were all hanging out and someone asked how wealth like that even works. She seemed happy to explain how, even if the royalties stopped overnight, the wealth grows in her accounts from interest and dividends, and that is more than she spends in a year, plus it's taxed less than our income is. A former actor turned author who now runs a llama ranch and a sex spa up north. Wild shit. He is the chairman and CEO of Berkshire Hathaway. I actually lived around the corner from him for many years. Land developer. Billions. He once showed me a picture of him and Bill Clinton riding an elephant in India, which also came with an interesting tale of the plane trip over there. Face with peeking eye. Can't say I know him, but I've met our Governor Pritzker here in Illinois quite a bit. He's worth about $13 billion last I checked. Inherited $1.3 billion from her father. Actually, there are 3 kids and each received that amount. He owns Nvidia stock and invested heavily into Bitcoin in 2009. He was a millionaire, but Nvidia stock turned him into a multi-billionaire. Before he was just a crazy rich Asian, but now he's an ultra crazy rich Asian. We're not the same financially, I'm just a normie, but he always asks me for advice on some rich person shit like what's the difference between owning a literal compound in California vs 600,000 acres in Texas, and I have no idea. He invites me to his uber wealthy Asian family dinners and shit. I don't know if any of you know what it's like eating $50,000 mango and melon of gold-plated toothpicks in a Grateful Dead hoodie surrounded by people in designer suites, but it's really awkward. Had ACL surgery 2 years ago. I remembered when I woke up, I cried LOL. The first person to talk to me was my anesthesiologist. I remembered asking him how much he made because I was doom researching everyone who was working on my knee. LOL. In clear shock and slight annoyance, he gave me a range 400k 600k. Based in NYC. There you have it, kids. Wanna find out how much a doctor makes? Book yourself an appointment. There's a guy I work with who started with one Jimmy John's franchise and grew it to 10. After 10 years, he sold them and invested the profits in the stock market and real estate. He managed all this while continuing his job as an airline pilot, which he still does. He even owns and flies his own private jet. I work with clients who all own multiple multi-million-dollar homes, and they all have one thing in common. They're business owners. A friend from high school, Rob, founded Cyanide and Happiness. He's the richest person in my graduating class of 170 people. Second most successful person from my graduating class was Chris Ogbanaya, who played in the NFL for the Rams, Texans, Browns, Panthers, and Giants. My dad, 30 plus years in banking, was VP of credit at a well-known AG finance company arm. Best guess was around 180k base salary towards the end, but he had stock options, pension, 9% 401k match, and his yearly bonus was close to 400k. After he retired, he just worked on his investments, stock options at 65 per share and sold at 200. Invested in Nvidia at the right time. Lives off pension / 401k with zero debt, and has millions invested. If you're wondering if I'm spoiled, after college I asked for help with buying a car. Found an old Acura for $3,500. He made me sign a contract for 24 months at 4% interest, made me provide pay stubs for my job to verify I could pay him back. Put himself as lien holder on title, the works. Even made me do the amortization schedule. Hard ass, but it's made me much better for it. Richest person I know does absolutely nothing. Comes from money, pays someone to manage his money, and earns more money from just having money. I know Stephen Colbert. He's Stephen Colbert for a living. He was a school guidance teacher to inner city kids on Long Island. Drove a beat-up Honda Civic. Lived his life very frugal. He invested in stocks and then expanded to owning a few rentals. He retired in Sonoma, California. He died a multi-millionaire. This guy was my father-in-law. He died before he could teach me all of his tricks. Great guy. He is jobless. Inherited money. Winner of a medical malpractice lawsuit, $15K/month for life plus expenses. My dad. Engineer and heading out near retirement here pretty soon. Created pre-packaged fresh and frozen meals for Costco. I'm super jealous of his car collection. They always have an ambiguous answer like I'm in finance. First, he was born very upper middle class, not super rich but still with a lot of advantages. Then he went to college, did well and got advanced degrees. Started a business in a very technical field, lived extremely frugally for a long time while working very hard. Then he started a second more marketable business, from which he was paid decently well. He ran the business through many ups and downs, until he was in his 60s. Then he sold the business for about $20 million. Ever wonder who cleans equipment, shelving, etc. out of large chain stores after they shut down? His crew does that. I don't know how rich he is, but he just bought his third brand new RV, and paid cash for it. Owns a casino and a hotel across the street from the casino. May own a whole bunch of other properties, but I guess those are the big ones. My neighbor owns a company that runs various cable, fiber, and other lines in my area. He also owns over 500 acres, so I don't have many other neighbors, LOL. My old boss, worth a few billion, NFL team owner. There's this family in Indianapolis. I went to the most expensive private school in the state with their kids. When I interned for our U.S. Senator, 2 of their cousins were manning the phones at his office front desks, minority chair of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. They have a privately held construction company, so no one knows the numbers. Sort of an American Bin Laden family. They do projects for China's Belt and Road Initiative. They designed and built China's highways and high-speed rail. They build ports, train stations, and airports in China, Asia, and Africa. The dad is in the board of a top 10 U.S. university. Rough estimates put them in the $65 to $80 billion net worth range, maybe higher. He owns a Dairy Queen, a whole building complex that houses another Dairy Queen, gas station, and Dunkin'. He also has his own firearms manufacturing company as well. I always joke with him and ask him when am I inheriting your businesses, and he always says if I gave them to you today, you'd give them back to me tomorrow. This shit is killing me. My friend became wealthy by selling RuneScape gold, no kidding. The richest person I know is a childhood friend who created a sustainable coffee chain. It started with a small shop that served organic and fair trade coffee, and little by little it expanded. Now, his company has dozens of stores in several cities, all committed to ecological practices and supporting communities of local producers. His success is based on his vision of combining business with social responsibility, and I am proud to see how he has prospered doing what he loves. Heartsuit, heartsuit. He's retired now, but he had a 21-season career in MLB. One of the nicest people I've ever met. He runs his own engineering company. Edit: I don't understand why this comment is being downvoted. I literally just answered Op's question. Can someone explain please? Real estate. He set up a biz where he buys houses for folks who can't qualify for a loan, rents the house to them for 3 years, then sells it at 6% interest. Since the value goes up more than that, they get a house with equity and at cheaper rate. He gets guaranteed interest payouts. Made millions by time he was 30. Must admit, wish I was that smart. CEO of a Fortune 500. Not a bad dude either. One of the few that doesn't hoard the tax kickback money. CEO of a tech company. He had 5 successful prior exits before I worked with him. Incredible work ethic. Definitely well earned. Pretend they're self-made from sales despite being given millions of dollars from family to invest and insider trading information about launch dates from other relatives. Well, that's the youngest rich person. The other was an oil exec through the 80s and 90s. Now they just run a small business for fun. I don't know who's richer now. Nothing. She inherited the money at age 62 from her birth father. He told her that his dying wish was that she quit her job and enjoy the rest of her life. So she did. She dabbles in real estate here and there and invested lots of it. She is my mill, and I couldn't think of a more deserving person to be gifted that much money from someone they had just met 5 years ago. He is a stay-at-home dad. He went to school and became a wealth manager. Did that for 7 to 8 years, then his grandfather died and he inherited about $10 million. He managed his own wealth for a few years and met the love of his life, a well-respected doctor with her own practice. He decided to quit his job and raise their kids, 3 so far, so his wife could continue with her practice. He owns 18 7-Elevens and a number of other independent businesses. My aunt's brother is a multi-millionaire who owns Sonic franchises throughout Central Texas. He's also a cheap asshole who washed his hands of his mother with dementia, raised 3 entitled children, and treats his sister like shit for not being as wealthy as him despite her being pretty well off herself. ETA, my aunt married into the family. Her brother is not my uncle. Trust fund kid from his family empire. Grandparents started a nationwide company and sold to investors for, who knows, maybe 100 million or more. Money makes money just by existing. Not a single person in their nuclear family has to do anything for the rest of time, including grandkids and great-grandkids. They continue to make money off of investing in real estate. He gets more money in his trust fund than I will ever make in my career, 100K plus earner per year, by simply existing in the right family. Absolutely jealous and maddening to think about. Interesting enough, his life is totally going to shit from addiction issues and getting mixed with the wrong people. Father owns several private golf courses. Serious fuck you money.